Hey, what's going on YouTube? Paris21 here, and I'm very excited to present to you guys my Majesty Lord Blaster deck profile. Finally was able to complete the deck this past weekend, so I have been testing it these past few weeks, starting builds, and I found a build that I feel is really consistent and can be very powerful as well. And I think us English players have been way long overdue to get this. But, you know, better late than never, I say. So, let's get to it. So, of course, with your starter, you have your Wingal Brave here. SP, of course. Gotta have an SP. It's a standard. But yeah, Wingal Brave, really good. He's what makes the deck very consistent. So, basically what he does is, if he's boosting a blaster unit and it hits the Vanguard, you put him in the soul and you search for any blaster card, which is Blaster Blade, Dark, or Majesty Lord Blaster in this case. You can splash him in Shadow Paladins as well, because he can work with those as well, but this is Royals. So, he's really good. I'm going to go ahead and start from the bottom to the top, because it's easier to explain that way. You have 4 Epona of Good Luck. Bring her good luck, because she brings me good luck. Seems like every time I was like checking a critical trigger for game, it was always her I reveal. I don't know why. It's like Aichi. 2 Alabaster Owl, because I don't have 2 more. So I run 2 Future Knight Llew for 8 crits. I like the 8 crits because it's really important to push early damage, and it's really nice, like when you use Majesty Lord Blaster skill, he already carries an extra critical, so it brings more pressure to your opponent. There are builds where I see where they run like 6 draw 6 crit to make up for the loss of 2 cards you do have to make when you use Majesty Lord's skill, but I mean I do play very aggressive with this deck early, so it usually doesn't matter. So early aggression kind of makes up for it. For Margal. Margal's really good. Basically, like, I like using Margals to boost early, and then later, when I'm about to use Majesty's skill, against usually the 10k Vanguard my opponent rides turn 2, put him in the soul, give 3000 Majesty so he swings for 25 crit 2, which is harder to block, so it's pretty good. It's a nice little sneak attack play you can do on him. And then for heal, because we like healing. Next up for grade 1s. 4 Little Sage Marron, I don't know how to say it. 8k beats is always good. I'm not sure if it's like a guy or girl, because like that helmet thing that he or she has, it looks kind of like an earring to me, and I don't know. It seems very feminine to me, but everyone tells me it's a male, so I was like, whatever. Then you have 3 of Kinght Of Friendship Man, because he's like one of my favorite cards in the deck. Basically, when you have a blaster unit in your Vanguard circle, he gains 3000 when he attacks, so boost for 7k, which is solid, and then move him up, attack for 10. So I like to use him to play like an early game aggression with him, because he can pretty much hit any Vanguard your opponent rides turn 1 or 2. So he's pretty good. And if you're running out of attackers, we'll just move him up and spike a rear guard. It's pretty much what I use him for. Then you have 3 Perfect Guards. It feels really weird that I'm not running 4. I usually run 4 in every deck. But with this deck, you don't really build that much of a hand necessarily. And no draw triggers don't count. But and also another thing with this deck is that there's a lot of like key cards you need to create your combo pieces for your strategy, and there's a lot of important cards that you really want to use in this deck. So it gets really awkward if you have a lot of these in your hand and you don't know which one, and you pretty much have to figure out which ones you want to keep more. And it gets really awkward in my testing, so I think 3 is pretty balanced. And then 3, Toypugal. I run 3 because I like 3. It's a good late game card that I want to draw into, so it can help pump up my Majesties to hit for 21, make Palamedes hit 22, any 12k attacker hit for 21, and you could put this behind like a blaster unit that's at 9k, and they can hit for an 18, which is a good number against a cross ride, so I like it. It's pretty consistent. Excuse me. Next up for grade 2s, you have 4 copies, of the Blaster Blade. Yep, I like 4 because I just want to open up with him. I want to open with him to use Wingal Brave. Simple as that. And plus, the deck doesn't rely on counterblast necessarily. It's very counterblast friendly, so I like to use spare counterblast just to abuse Blaster Blade skill. And I mean, what's nice is like like I said, you do lose 2 cards when you use Majesty Lord skill, but at least if you call a Blaster Blade, your opponent loses 1. So it's not too much, it's not that bad in terms of advantage. So yeah, he's really good. And I like this alternate art. I don't like the other I like this art. I don't like the alternate art where he's like trying to stab you, because I think he looks more like royalty rather than the alternate art. He looks like a rogue knight. I don't know. I think it's weird. Then you have 3 Blaster Dark. I think 3 is fine, just because, I mean, he doesn't do anything. I mean, unless you have 2 open counter blast and you ride him. I mean, I guess, okay, woo, I kill something, but it's, you know, 9K Vanillas is okay. Spike, I usually use him to spike like 9K rear guards. And but something that like I forgot too, when I was running 4, I forgot that you can't discard him for a perfect guard. I don't know why, but I don't know why I forgot that, but yeah. So I think 3 is balanced. Plus you also run 2 Starcall Trumpeters. I don't know, I don't really like this card too much, but it helps with the consistency of the deck, because it's a wild card for any of these, of course. And I usually like to use its skill sometimes, even if I don't need to use Majesty's skill. Like, I just use it just to get a free +1 and just like fill up my field, especially if I'm not taking on cross ride. So it works out okay. So I don't like the card, but it does work in the deck, and it makes it consistent. And then 3 Bedivere, 12K attackers. When you have a blaster unit in your Vanguard, he gains 3,000 when he attacks. I see some builds that they only run 2, which I don't know. I just like 3 because I think 12K attackers are just too important right now, especially with cross rides. So I am running like 12 grade 2s, which may seem much, but like I said, you do lose 2 your grade 2s anyway, so it's like I'm running 10 technically. But yeah, so that's my grade 2s. And then grade 3s, the Man of the Hour. 3 Majesty Lord Blaster. I really like 3. I've seen some players that they run 2, which I don't like. I mean, the theory behind that is that you can search him out with Wingal Brave. I mean, I know that, I understand that, but I hate when I have to waste Wingal Brave's skill to search for him, because I'd rather use him to search for a blaster unit like a Blaster Blade or Dark, because it's really important to do that. Because so I run 3 so I can try and open up with him. You want to open with him. You don't want to have to waste Wingal Brave's skill to use on Majesty. That's like a last, that's like a last resort. But yeah, I really hate wasting skills like that, so I think 3 is fine. So if you're not aware what he does, the way he works is if you have a Blaster Blade and Dark in your soul, he gains a permanent plus 2,000 and a critical. So that's during your opponent's turn too, so he does become a permanent 12,000. So really good for defense and pressuring to your opponent with extra critical. Now, the best way to get him in the soul is obviously with the second skill. So if you have a Blaster Blade, Blaster Dark in the soul, or on your field, and he attacks, add these both in the soul, he gains 10,000 for the turn. And then he does gain the 2,000 in the crit as well. So what's nice is, like, you don't even have to boost with them early on. You can just pressure him. Swing for 22 crit 2. You use Margal's skill, make him plus 3,000. Hits 25 crit 2 against their 10k Vanguard they ride turn 2. So it's really good. It's really meant. You do lose 2 cards, but like I said, Blaster Blade makes it so your opponent loses a card as well. And I mean, this deck can potentially push out a lot of damage early on. Like I said, like usually in my testing, I usually had like a 2 to 3 damage difference between me and my opponent early on. Like I'll get him down to like 4 or 5 damage, like a lot quicker than they can get to me. So that's pretty good. So 3 of them. Then 3 copies of one of my favorite cards in the deck, 3 Palamedes. I honestly don't know why I see some builds that run 2. I can't run less than 3, just because this card is just too good. It's like one of the best cards in the game when it comes to rear guards. Next to Silent Tom, of course. Excuse me. Now, I mean, he does gain 3,000 for free, so he's important to take on cross rides, but the reason why I like to run 3 is I hate like having him in the rear guard and my opponent keeps attacking him. It gets annoying, especially if I don't have another one in my hand. So I have to like waste cards to keep him on the field, or sometimes I have to wait till late game to drop him. I like the luxury of dropping him early, using him early, and if my opponent kills one, I'll just drop another one and make them rage. So I like 3. Plus I own 3, so I have to run this. And then 2 of probably the most consistent card in Royal Paladins. 2 King of Knight Alfreds. Now, I like 2 in the deck just because he's very versatile. He's a good alternative Vanguard because him with 3 Majesty makes it 5 ideal Vanguard grade 3s, which I like. So basically with him, one thing that people don't notice, a lot of players don't notice, is that his ability to counterblast 3 and to superior call a grade 2 or less Royal Paladin can be you can do that on the Vanguard, on the rearguard circle as well, the Vanguard. And it's not an on-call ability, so you can just like leave him on the field, and then anytime you want, you can just superior call something. So what's nice with Alfred, like I said, counterblast, you don't rely on counterblast. So usually, like early game, I usually drop a blaster blade and use this skill, or I use a, where are you? A Starcall. It's usually I use one of these. So then late game, I usually have like 3 open counterblasts. So then I just use Alfred's skill, maybe get an attacker out like a Bedivere, or get a Toypugal out to help replenish my field, because you do lose 2 cards with Majesty skill. So it helps. It makes it consistent. So I like them a lot. I actually might do a comparison video between these two guys, because this is like your consistent card, this is like your power card, but I like them both in the deck. Really good. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That is my Majesty Lord Blaster deck, MLB, Major League Baseball. I don't know. I hear that a lot. So yeah, it's a really fun deck. I really have a lot of fun with this deck, and at the same time, it's like one of the most competitive decks right now in our format. So yeah, definitely leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Definitely give a thumbs up if you like what you saw. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for some more Vanguard content. And as always, don't leave some suggestions in the comment box down below with any matches you want me to see me pair this up against, because I will be trying to pump out a ton of content with this guy. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.